Legends say that in the old world, there were quite a few holy grails, relics that were used to fight against the forces of chaos. Items that had special powers changed the outcome of many battles. Crafted with the magic of the best wizards, adorned with rare stones found in the treasures of the elves, and often forged by the best dwarven smiths. On the last day before Archaon the Everchosen devoured the old world, many of these were saved by Sigmar himself. Today they adorn the chambers of Azyr and represent the hidden weapons of the centuries of struggle ahead. Some were saved, but most were destroyed on Judgment Day. Well, some just disappeared, and we don't know if they even existed. Are they just a myth? Just a legend in the records of the Gold Order? One such is for sure. Prleški Hammer. Somewhere on the border between Britannia and the Empire, in the mountains that abutted the Lauren forests, was a small place called Holomus. It wasn't known for overly brave fighters. Even more so, people here didn't like weapons at all. It was not graced by an alchemist academy. The locals considered wizards to be fools. They were not known as blacksmiths or horse breeders. The only thing these people knew was winemaking. The best wine. Such amazing wine that there are records of orcs from Camp Kungota coming to Holomus and drinking with the locals until dawn without a single head being cut off. To these people, it was holy water, a solution that could unite the gods to close the portals of chaos. For centuries, they worked on the God's Wine project, which was supposed to be the key to the reconciliation of all races and the way to the final showdown with chaos. And indeed, the gods drank it. In the old records of the Thornell Library, one of such events describes that the goblin shamans made offerings of wine to the Gorkamorka through sacrificial ceremonies. It ended with a fight between the two Hids, which was to be followed by a brutal orc attack on the occult centers of Khorne. It is said that Nagash also drank it, only a couple of drops, but enough to feel what it's like to be alive. Because of that, he got the desire to enrich the hordes of skeletons with some meat. That's why the zombies were created. It also had a strange effect on the Skaven. In Corporal Smith's diary, it is written that the rat Feskach Dungfiend, the deranged tormentor of the drill warp engine, came up with the idea to kill the great horned rat with his gang. The attempt ended badly as they killed each other while they were planning. There are many such and similar records, and even more stories. Before the end times began, the natives hid all their supplies of God's wine in a wine barrel and put a handle into it to look like a hammer. It was entrusted to a dwarf of noble blood, Dakric Deepbreaker, who was asked to hide it in the depths of the Grey Mountain before the hordes of Slaanesh came for it. This is where the story of the Old World ends. No other records of this time exist. It is known, however, that an Archanaut ironclad full of dwarves flew out of Grey Mountain shortly before the world was destroyed. The path led to the sky's expanses of the New World. Somewhere during the flight over Gur, between Galat and Thondia, an explosion is said to have occurred, perhaps because the dwarves tried to remove the handle from the barrel and get to the wine. Only traces of the wrecked ironclad were found. And so, the battle for Prleški Hammer began.